Here we go. Five things. Fuck around and find out edition. Let's go. Not sure who needs to hear this, but you're gonna hear it. Isn't it an interesting thing that the actions that we take have consequences? Do you think that that's less so than it used to be? Do you think that, it's an interesting thing. It certainly appears that way, doesn't it? It appears that you can get away with things a lot more than you used to. We've got we've got people that are throwing soup on priceless works of art. We have people that are sitting down on busy roads and expressways. And are they, which are without question examples of fucking around, but are they finding out? And I don't know if there's anything more satisfying than somebody getting their comeuppance. And I imagine, are like me when you do see a clip of a frustrated and angry motorist who has had it up to his or her eyeballs, and they get out of the car and they drag the protester who has decided to sit on the aforementioned busy street and drag them off. Or the person who is just being a jerk, being an annoyance, and screaming in somebody's face, and then retribution happens. And while I don't know that, I'm certainly not advocating for physical violence, but I wonder if that's one of the problems here, is that there's a period of time where there have not been dire consequences, and we've grown comfortable. Is that it? Is that what the problem is? That there's just a lot of fucking around and not enough finding out? So that's what I wanted to talk about today. That's what I wanted to talk about today. Fuck around, find out. That is a very, very, it's a contemporary term. It's pretty new. But you could look and say it's don't bite the hand that feeds. I think that there's probably a handful more that are out there. Sort of, and it's different than that actually. I take that one back. But essentially, it just means that if you act recklessly, you will face a consequence. And that I'm 100% sure of, that I know is an important thing to keep in mind and an important thing to reinforce. That in fact, there are consequences for your actions, and we, as a culture and as individuals, appreciate justice. And when we see something that is unjust or that we perceive to be unjust, we want retribution. We want the scales to be balanced. We want the person who's fucking around to find out. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about some different examples of fucking around and finding out. Some funny and light and some a little heavier. Well, that's how the show goes. So I'm going to start off with the soft one. It's kind of a bonus one. So I guess that this is a six things. There's a very, very, very famous story about Babe Ruth calling a shot. And turns out that in 1932, Charlie Root, who was a pitcher for the Chicago Cubs, mocked the Bambino. He mocked Babe Ruth, calling him washed up. Well, so there's your fucking around. The finding out, this is where Babe Ruth comes up to the plate at bat, points to the stands, and puts the ball right there. You hit a home run. He called his shot. So there you go. Some dude calls you washed up. You walk up to the plate. You point to where you're going to hit the ball. And it's not just a single or a double. No. You point to the outfield stands. Say, that's where it's going, buddy. Boom. Suck it, Charlie Root. I like it. All right, number five. Number five. Let's get started. Fuck around and find out. Midnight Express. The movie Midnight Express was a story of Billy Hayes, and it's an all-time great. Fuck around and find out in real life. So what it was? Did you see Midnight Express? What a movie! Whew, my goodness, I saw Midnight Express when I was way too young to see Midnight Express. There were some pretty grown-up themes going on in Midnight Express that I should not have watched. Anyway, Billy Hayes is in Turkey and he decides he's gonna smuggle some hashish out of Turkey by he like tapes bricks of it to his body. What happened? Well, he got busted, spends 30 years in a Turkish prison. Whoo, buddy. That is uh that is an all-time fuck around and find out right there. And lots of other stuff happened during the movie. We don't need to get into necessarily. But that is a good one. F around and find out. Fuck around, find out. Number 4, biblical edition. The Israelites decided that they were going to create a golden calf. The cat's away, the mice will play. Moses, he's out on Mount Sinai doing something mildly important. He's receiving the Ten Commandments. Could you guys wait? Could you hold off? Just be cool. Can you guys chill out for a minute? I'm just gonna go grab something. I'll be right back. I'm having like flashbacks of had conversations with my kids. I'm gonna go out to the garage and grab something. Try not to burn the house down. Are you able to? No? No, you're gonna just burn the place down. You're gonna somehow open a can of paint, throw it on the TV, the curtains. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Moses goes to Mount Sinai to get the Ten Commandments. The Israelites, they grow impatient and they make a golden calf to worship. So Moses comes back. He saw what they done. He got so pissed, he smashed the Ten Commandments. And then what happened? God sent a plague to punish them, and many of the people died for their idolatry. So you fuck around, you worship a false idol, God sends plagues upon you. Yeah, it's a tough one. Extra bonus one, Jonah. Jonah, you're familiar with Jonah from the Bible? Well, God told Jonah that he needed to go to Nineveh and warn the people to stop being so wicked. What happened instead was that Jonah, instead of zigging, he zagged. So he hopped on a ship to go the opposite direction. So what happened? That's the fuck around. To find out was that God set a storm to stop Jonah. And in the storm, he was thrown overboard and swallowed by a giant fish. After 3 days, Jonah repented, followed God's command. That's a pretty good one. Follow Lucifer. Looks like we've got 3 from the Bible, but there's so many good ones, and well, some real classics. You know, Lucifer. He was like the highest ranking. He's God's favorite. Then he became prideful, and he thought he was going to actually ascend higher than God. That's the fuck around part, and obviously, we know what happens then. God throws Lucifer out. Said, beat it, scram, hit the bricks. And then obviously he's now Satan down in hell. So that's a classic one. Number 3. Napoleon, his Russian campaign in 1812. Napoleon was quite a military leader, an incredible strategist. He thought he could roll into Russia, roll right over them, just like he had rolled over Europe. He assembled the Grande Armée, one of the largest armies in history, and marched into Russia. That was the fuck around part. Find out was, unfortunately, Russia decided to use scorched earth tactic, retreating deeper into their territory, burning everything in their path, leaving Napoleon's forces behind, following them with nothing to survive on. And unfortunately, winter is coming, as it always is, and it did. And so a combination of cold weather, starvation, by the time that they finally retreated, they'd lost over 400,000 men. Fuck around and find out. Never underestimate just how big of an area Russia is and just how cold it is there. Whew. Did they not know that? It's possible. It's possible that they didn't. Number 2, numero dos. Pearl Harbor. 1941. God, is this... It's just a historical example of it. I don't. It's not like politically incorrect, is it? Is this negative? Well, it is what it is. It is it is a quintessential fuck around, find out. Quintessential fuck around and find out. Obviously. Obviously. Japan attacked Hawaii. They attacked Pearl Harbor. A lot of bad things. That's the fuck around part. Finding out, we all know what happened next. So, brevity on that one. Let's go to number one. Number one example of fuck around and find out. The American Revolution. Let's go. Let's go. King George III, he thought that he could just control us and tax us without any consequences? You think you could tax my tea and my stamps? You think? Is that what you think? Motherfucker? Wrong. 1776 happened. Bitch. Boom. And there it is. 5 things. Fuck around and find out edition. Whoo, buddy. Those are some good ones. Those are some good ones. But let that be a lesson to all of us that we all, deep inside, deep down, the reason we like movies where there's retribution, they're our favorite. They're some of our favorites. We want adversity. We want the good guys and gals to overcome the adversity, to blow up the Death Star. We want the good guys to, I mean, it's obviously countless. We want Rocky to beat Drago. Whew. So many good ones. So many good ones. Let's remember that for our own lives, too. Am I fucking around? Am I about to find out? Got to be a little more careful. There's consequences for our actions. As always, do your part by doing your